I'm not that worried about it because, man, is he boring. Like, it's very hard to, like, actually absorb anything Obama's saying. You're just going, like, come on, dude. You could truck through those spaces between words. It's just like, we get it. You're important, historic, but try to speed it up a bit.
His administration's done. His foreign policy's done. So anything he does right now just doesn't mean anything. And it's just almost like trying to get the last word in a conversation you lost. Like, your mama. That's basically what Obama did. We kick out the diplomats, but what doesn't...
Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus just dropped a political bombshell, and guess whose name's in the blast radius? Obama. Word is, there's a secret so shocking it made even the teleprompter pause. These two didn't just chat, they blew the lid off something that's got half of DC gripping their coffee in disbelief. So what did Obama do that's got Gutfeld smirking like he just outsmarted Fox News itself? Stay tuned, this revelation could completely rewrite the legacy of America's once-cool president.
The most boring person on the planet. And that says something. I have a rule of thumb, though. When they say it's both sides.
The previous segment, we talked about when he talked, when his publisher told him to speak, and when he got to talk for himself. This is another example of a brother having to talk about something that they told him.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe. It helps more than you'd imagine. Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus are at it again, the unfiltered comedy duo stirring up another round of political mayhem. This time, they've peeled back another layer of Washington's tangled onion, and out pops a familiar name, Barack Obama. Yes, the former president who turned cool under pressure into a brand apparently has a secret of his own.
Could cut a rug. Look at Syria, Iran, ISIS. I'd say his best move was the chicken dance. And Obamacare, a hustle. Don't worry, sad stars. Obama isn't really going away, though. You can always keep playing a president on TV. He'd probably do a great job, or at least do less damage. So, Hollywood will miss Obama, but what will Obama miss? Donald Trump, ISIS, American dissent. It's hard to miss something you didn't see coming or going in the first place. The rise of ISIS, the pernicious spread of Islamism, flourished under the president. These are the things that he...
And not just any secret, the kind that's got Gutfeld grinning like he just found out Area 51 is open for tours. When he smiles like that, you can bet something big is coming. It's that same unsettling feeling you get when a cat fixates on an empty corner. You just know some strange truth is about to surface.
You also missed the fact that he also unfriended Obama on Facebook. So this is laughable. Unfortunately for, our president who's done, and they know he's done, and these sanctions mean absolutely nothing. When these sanctions came out, his phone buzzed, he got a DM from probably Donald Trump saying, "Don't trip, I got this. We'll fix it, after the 20th." And he went, "Okay, cool. We're good. Now go ahead."
And sure enough, Tyrus, the sidekick, human lie detector, and master of deadpan sarcasm, was right there beside him, arms crossed and ready to tear into the chaos. When Gutfeld and Tyrus dig into a story, subtlety isn't on the menu. It's a full-blown roast coated in conspiracy, drenched in punchlines, and plated perfectly for Fox News consumption.
Obama and Trump say what? Tyrus, Trump, and Obama sat next to each other at Jimmy Carter's funeral. They appear to have buried the hatchet. What do you think they were saying?
Oh, I know what they were saying.
Right.
Hey, two-term guy. What's up, two-term guy? How are you doing? I don't know, just doing my two-term thing. And Biden was in the front, and Kamala was in the... And, oh, hey, I'm sorry, no term and one term.
It's so funny. Dana, and meanwhile, you have Hillary, no term. Yep. Sitting there, and she's just away from her two-term Trump.
Hey, but she...
So, what's the big Obama secret? You thought it was something harmless, maybe a new Netflix deal or an embarrassing golf score. Not even close. Gutfeld and Tyrus dove headfirst into the deep end of political intrigue, the kind nobody realized they wanted, about who's really pulling the strings behind the curtain. The quiet whispers, the subtle moves, those weird coincidences that make you stop and think, hold on, why does everything somehow lead back to the Obamas? It's almost funny at this point. Every political plot twist seems to have Obama's name hovering in the background like a watermark. Gutfeld joked that the guy could be catching waves in Hawaii and still end up blamed or praised for whatever's happening in DC. Biden stumbles on a line. Must be Obama's ghost in the teleprompter. Gas prices spike? Obama's shadow at it again. Celebrity gets canceled? Probably texted Obama for advice first. But this time, it's not about what he's blamed for. It's about what he's supposedly still doing. The rumor mill's in overdrive, and Tyrus didn't waste a second lobbing the first shot. Maybe, just maybe, Obama's still calling some of the shots. Not on paper, of course. Officially, he's painting, producing, and occasionally reminding everyone how his approval ratings once crushed the competition. But unofficially, some say his fingerprints are all over the moves that seem way too sharp to have come from today's playbook.
President Obama still has Trump on his mind. Tuesday, he spoke to the Economic Club of Chicago, where Crain's columnist Greg Huns noted a startling comparison of Trump to Hitler. Huns paraphrases what he heard President Obama say. We have to tend to this garden of democracy or else things could fall apart quickly. That's what happened in Germany in the 1930s, which despite the democracy of the Weimar Republic and centuries of high-level cultural and scientific achievements, Adolf Hitler rose to dominate. 60 million people died, so you gotta pay attention and vote. So, Nazi Germany.
You could practically see Gutfeld reveling in it. He dubbed it the invisible presidency. That quiet, almost spectral form of control that doesn't need press briefings or motorcades. Just a few phone calls, a whispered suggestion, and suddenly everything in Washington falls neatly into place. It's like Obama turned politics into a subscription service. You might not see him anymore, but you can bet he's still charging your account every month. Meanwhile, Tyrus looked like a man who'd just solved the Da Vinci Code, leaning back with that told you so energy, wondering how everyone else missed what he considers obvious. To him, the signs all line up. The timing, the tone, the coordinated messaging, it all reeks of an Obama alumni reunion. And honestly, it's hard to deny. The guy may have left the Oval Office, but it sure feels like he still has the Wi-Fi password. What's wild is how unfazed people seem. Obama could stroll into a G7 meeting, grab the mic, and half the world would just nod and go, yeah, that tracks. That's how deep his influence runs, not just political, but cultural, almost mythic. And that's exactly what Gutfeld and Tyrus were riffing on, Obama's ability to outlast the presidency itself without even trying. They broke it down like detectives at a political crime scene, tracing every too-smooth speech, every flawlessly phrased talking point that clearly didn't come from a committee, and there it is again, the Obama touch. That faint trace of elegance in a political era allergic to finesse.
I think it was $29 a month for the fiddling crew. I don't think the American people are glad to see that one go, but when Kennedy acknowledged earlier that Joe was going to be taking this over. So they put the two most easiest things to cut off. There was no victory, and I think he understood that, because let's remember, when he got out, when his term was up, he did not endorse Joe Biden, because Joe Biden was crooked and was fleecing the country then.
But of course, the duo didn't stop there. Gutfeld's comedic radar zeroed in on the ultimate irony. Obama might be the only guy in history to retire from politics, yet still run the narrative. Everyone else leaves office and fades into book deals and paid speeches. Obama walks out of the White House and somehow becomes the busiest retired man on the planet. It's like he turned his presidency into a franchise. Obama, the sequel. Obama, the legacy series. Obama, executive decisions, now streaming everywhere. And honestly, if he really is still pulling strings behind the scenes, you can't even hate it. Because only Obama could make covert influence look effortless. Most politicians can't hide a typo. Obama could bury an entire operation and still get applause for his Spotify playlist. That's what really had Gutfeld and Tyrus cracking up, the sheer cultural dominance. Nobody else carries that strange combo of calm authority and internet meme energy. Obama's the only guy who can trend globally just for existing. He could post a picture of a sandwich and spark a week-long debate about what it symbolizes. Gutfeld joked that maybe the real secret isn't political at all. Maybe Obama just mastered the art of being mysteriously relevant. And as usual, the internet's running wild with it.
For the rest of your life, it's like, how could this be bad? And you have cheap natural gas But he is terrified of, I think, the environmentalist factions in his own party. He can't say, yeah, being not cool. That's what it is.
Thank you.
That was a good heckle.
Heckle.
Yeah, but it's true. No, he's scared. He is scared of like, yeah. That's part of the problem. Is environmentalism is perceived as.
Every time Gutfeld and Tyrus drop a new theory, social media goes into meltdown mode, like the whole country's trying to solve a national mystery. Some people lose their minds, others crack up, and plenty just grab popcorn because, honestly, this is the kind of chaos politics has been missing. Forget dull scandals. Give us plot twists, suspense, and a dash of absurdity. What makes it even funnier is how predictable it's all become. The second anything remotely weird happens in Washington, Gutfeld's eyebrow starts twitching like a conspiracy radar. You can practically hear him thinking, hold up, is this another Obama situation? It's as if he's built his own political cinematic universe, the OCU, Obama Cinematic Universe, where every storyline loops back to that same enigmatic figure pulling invisible strings. And then there's Tyrus, the perfect co-pilot. He doesn't even need to talk much. One slow, knowing nod says it all. Yep, I see it too. Together, they're like detectives in a political buddy cop flick, except instead of chasing criminals, they're tracking down the truth behind America's ongoing deja vu. The best part? It works. The more they joke, the more people start connecting dots that probably shouldn't be connected, but are way too entertaining to ignore. And underneath all the laughter and sarcasm lies the real kicker Gutfeld hinted at. This story hits hard because, deep down, people want it to be true.
Black president, you get that, oh, I can't have any problems. And Joe was like, don't worry, I'll get all the problems for you, all the smoke. So when he was doing that, you can tell it's disingenuous because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing instead of saying, look, I'm going to put this moron who's going to steal and make it way worse. And now we've seen from that date, from that time, how big the spending and ridiculousness has gotten with Joe Biden's fingers always being around with the exception of 4 years. So I think, and if you asked him if the camera turned off, he would have been like, man, I can't believe we're going to let this dumb be in charge of this stuff. You know he's going to screw this up right. That's exactly what would have happened.
There's something oddly reassuring about believing there's still an adult in the room, someone quietly steering the ship while everyone else argues on deck. The alternative is pure chaos, and chaos just isn't Obama's style. He's too calm, too precise. If he is behind the curtain, you can bet he made sure the curtain was perfectly ironed first. Then came the real bombshell, the idea that Obama's influence might extend far beyond politics, right into the media itself. And that's what made Gutfeld and Tyrus's take both hilarious and weirdly believable. You can almost imagine Obama lounging in Martha's Vineyard with a make it go viral button at his fingertips. Honestly, it's not that far-fetched. He's the only former president who can effortlessly outshine the current one without even trying. Picture 3 people in the Oval Office bickering over policy, and then a single, measured text from Obama drops, and suddenly everyone's in agreement. That's not politics. That's Jedi-level influence. And of course, Gutfeld couldn't resist pointing out the irony. For years, people laughed off talk of shadow governments and deep states. But now, it's starting to sound less like conspiracy theory and more like corporate-level management.
Obama's now a Republican.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about.
I think Obama appreciates Trump for saying what he wished he could say.
Well, not just that, and they also were both like, hey, we both won twice. So that
Yeah.
The Obama Management Corporation. That's what Gutfeld called it, where every crisis comes with a pre-written press release and a perfectly timed smirk. Tyrus couldn't stop laughing at the image. Obama in a leather chair, surrounded by advisors, calmly sipping a mug labeled hope and control while the world spins around him. And honestly, if anyone could orchestrate global politics from the shadows and make it look easy, it's the man who turned campaign speeches into poetry and made politics feel like a TED Talk. But here's the kicker, even when they're joking, there's that faint maybe. Maybe Gutfeld's not entirely off base. Because somehow, everything still seems to move to Obama's rhythm. Every new administration, every headline, every sudden controversy, it all feels like part of an Obama remix. That's what makes the whole idea both hilarious and unsettling. If it's true, he's the smoothest puppet master in modern history. If it's not, then he's still haunting the national psyche rent-free. Either way, he wins because even years out of office, the man still dictates the conversation. That's not luck. That's brand power, meticulously built, masterfully maintained, and seemingly eternal. Gutfeld and Tyrus wrapped it up the only way they could by laughing at how the Obama effect just won't die. They joked that even in 2080, someone will stumble into a political scandal and a hologram of Gutfeld will appear, smirking, "You know who's behind this, right?" And the wild part? People will probably still nod. Because once you've reached myth status, the truth stops mattering, the legend runs the show.
By his NPR voice. I was the most relaxing I've ever heard of him. Look, I think he's sexist. I think he's portraying his candidate as a damsel in distress. That somehow she's the target of all these things, when in fact she's responsible for all these things by having this email, this private server. And there's one thing too that he's ignoring, and a lot of people are ignoring, is that Team Hillary knew about Anthony Weiner before he resigned.
The funniest part? Obama doesn't even need to deny any of it. He just flashes that trademark calm smile. The one that seems to say, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And that's all it takes for the world to lose its collective mind trying to decode the meaning behind it. That's the real secret, not power, but control through mystery. As Gutfeld and Tyrus sat there, soaking in their own revelation, it was obvious they weren't just stirring the pot, they were savoring every spoonful. Because in the circus that is modern politics, Obama's still the ringmaster who never left. And they're the two funniest clowns pointing out the magic trick everyone else pretends not to see. Somewhere out there, you just know Obama's smiling again, calm, composed, and quietly entertained. Because when your secret is that you might still be running the show, you don't bother denying it. You let people keep guessing. After all, what's more powerful than being the mystery everyone can't stop talking about? And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The Obama secret went nuclear overnight. Suddenly, the man couldn't even post a family photo without conspiracy theorists insisting it was a coded message to the Pentagon.
Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up when she cleans it.
Gutfeld and Tyrus sat back like proud arsonists, watching the blaze they started, grinning as the chaos took on a life of its own. Every clip from their exposé was being remixed, captioned, and overanalyzed by people who completely missed the sarcasm, but couldn't resist the scandal. And through it all, Obama said nothing, which only made it funnier, because nothing fuels a rumor faster than silence that looks perfectly composed. By the weekend, the country had split into camps, the believers, the skeptics, and the ones just in it for the show. In that moment, Gutfeld and Tyrus didn't just expose a supposed secret, they exposed America's favorite obsession, the need for Obama to still be the main character. And the real punchline? They didn't even have to add anything new. They just lit the spark and walked away while everyone else built the bonfire. The Obama secret wasn't merely uncovered, it became a full-blown spectacle.